Hey everyone, John Green here, and today we're talking about ADHD. You might know someone with it, or maybe you've wondered about it yourself. It's way more common than you think. Growing up, I always felt like my brain was on fast forward, constantly jumping between ideas. Sound familiar? Well, that's just a taste of what life with ADHD can feel like. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It's not just about being hyper or easily distracted, though. It's a difference in how the brain works, specifically in areas that control attention, impulsivity, and activity levels. Think of it like having a race car engine for a brain tons of power, but sometimes tricky to steer. Understanding ADHD is super important, not just for those who have it, but for everyone. It helps us create a more supportive and inclusive environment at home, school, and work. Plus, it helps us challenge those outdated stereotypes about ADHD being just a kid's thing or a lack of willpower. It's time to ditch the judgment and embrace the understanding. So, buckle up, because we're about to break down ADHD in a way that's informative, relatable, and hopefully even a little bit fun. Let's go! Okay, so we've established that ADHD brains are wired a little differently. But what does that actually mean? Well, doctors use something called the DSM-5, that's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, to diagnose ADHD. It outlines specific criteria focusing on two main categories, inattention and hyperactivity impulsivity. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, John, isn't it just about fidgeting and interrupting? Not quite. While those can be signs, ADHD is way more nuanced than that. It's about struggling to focus on tasks, especially boring ones, even when you're trying really hard. It's about feeling restless, like your internal engine is always revving. And yes, it can also involve acting impulsively, like blurting out answers or making decisions without thinking them through. The thing is, ADHD isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Some people might struggle mainly with inattention, finding it hard to stay organized or follow instructions. Others might be more hyperactive and impulsive, always on the move and struggling to wait their turn. And many experience a combination of both. The important thing to remember is that ADHD is a spectrum. There's no right or wrong way to have it. What matters is recognizing the signs and getting the right support to thrive. ADHD often shows up in childhood, but it can be tricky to spot because, well, kids will be kids. A certain amount of fidgeting, daydreaming, and impulsivity is totally normal. But when these behaviors are frequent, intense, and interfere with daily life, that's when it might be ADHD. For example, a child with ADHD might have trouble sitting still during class, constantly fidgeting or getting up to walk around. They might blurt out answers, interrupt others, or have difficulty waiting their turn in games. Homework can be a real struggle, with difficulty focusing, getting organized, and remembering instructions. As kids become teenagers, the signs of ADHD might shift. They might struggle with time management, procrastination, and keeping track of assignments. Impulsivity could show up as reckless behavior, difficulty controlling emotions, or trouble thinking before speaking or acting. And guess what? ADHD doesn't magically disappear in adulthood. Adults with ADHD might struggle with similar challenges, like difficulty focusing at work, managing their time effectively, or maintaining healthy relationships. They might feel restless, impatient, or easily frustrated. The good news is that with the right support and strategies, people of all ages with ADHD can thrive. All right, let's get practical. Living with ADHD can be challenging, but it's definitely not impossible to manage those racing thoughts and find your focus. Here are a few research-backed tips to get you started. First, try time blocking. Break down tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks and schedule them into your day. This helps create structure and reduces overwhelm. Next up is body doubling. Having someone else present while you work or study can provide a sense of accountability and motivation. Plus, it can make boring tasks a little more bearable. Third, visual timers or apps. Visual cues can be super helpful for tracking time and staying on track. There are tons of apps and timers out there designed specifically for people with ADHD. Fourth, mindfulness or movement breaks. Taking short breaks to move your body or practice mindfulness can help calm your mind, improve focus, and reduce restlessness. And finally, environmental design. Create a workspace that minimizes distractions. This might mean finding a quiet spot, using noise-canceling headphones, or keeping your workspace tidy and organized. Remember, Finding the right strategies takes time and experimentation. What works for one person might not work for another. The key is to be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're struggling with ADHD, know that you're not alone. Reach out to a mental health professional for guidance and support. They can help you develop personalized strategies and connect you with resources. And hey, let's keep the conversation going. Share your own experiences, tips, and challenges in the comments below. Together, we can create a more understanding and supportive world for everyone with ADHD. Keep rocking those amazing brains.